All right, here we are in Richland, Washington. Ran into Mike. Now, we ran into Mike about a week ago in Prosser, Washington. He was walking across a bridge with a sign, like what he has here, about Jesus is Lord. And you know, you don't see that very often. And sometimes you think when you see something like that, this guy's a wackadoodle, you know? He's a weird dude. And we stopped and talked with him, and hey, he's a normal Christian guy, just like us. Except for he feels that God has called him to just walk and testify to what Christ has done for him using a sign. But what we'd like to do is maybe just share with, have him share a little bit with us about how this came about. He's been doing this for what, about 6 years? Well, you were in a car accident about 6 years ago, right?
No, I was in a car accident in 2003.
2003, okay.
17 years ago.
Oh, that long, okay.
I started walking about 5 years ago. So
okay.
I was saying that my 6 years is about to start in about a week or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now how does God speak to people like yourself to get you to do something like this? Because I know how he speaks to me, but he speaks to people differently.
Yeah, he sure does, huh?
Yeah. So maybe you could share something about that.
Well, for me, he spoke to me through, well, he answered some prayers one time, and it was kind of weird because I wasn't really praying, you know. I remember I said something like, God, why is this happening? And I just didn't know that. And I said, wow, that was pretty strong, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, but I had prayed a lot of times, but he didn't answer me like that. But this day he did. He came back pretty strong anyway. He had told me a few things. Almost everything he said that day is come to pass exactly the way he said it.
Huh.
And anyway, that really opened my eyes a lot more. But anyway, he speaks to me in a lot of ways. Everything from songs to dreams to feelings. So yeah.
Now you mentioned earlier that you listen to the Bible on earphones as you're walking.
Right.
So obviously he speaks to you through the scriptures.
Sure.
Like he does most everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Okay. So now, what kind of response do you get from people? I mean, doing this, you must run into homeless folks. Now you camp out quite a bit. Just basically sleeping out in the
every day.
Yeah, every day. Okay.
I mean, either just on the side of the road, an empty lot under a bridge, by a stream. Yeah, every day.
Yeah. So in the process of that, you probably occasionally get some opposition. Police ever come and harass you?
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly. I mess with them at least once every other day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They just don't know who you are. You're passing through, so they're kind of just doing their job.
Yeah, and I don't blame them for it.
Sure.
I mean, as long as they I understand their point of view. They're protecting the neighborhood. I look kind of weird. I mean, they just, they're making sure everything's fine. Once they find out everything's okay, and they leave it back, and praise the Lord, everything's good. Yeah. But if they continue and they start calling back up and all that kind of stuff, where they want to detain me for half an hour while they check numbers and stuff, then I get it. At that point, I'll say something. But usually, I'm just very cooperative in a way.
Yeah.
So
in most cases, we run into the same kind of thing in the ministry that we do, and usually they're just doing their job. Now you've walked from like Seattle to Utah. Where all have you been?
Every state except for North and South Dakota, from Missouri to California.
Wow.
Yeah. But I usually keep it just the Pacific Northwest, and well, that's not true because I do Texas and stuff still. New Mexico I go quite frequently.
Yeah, in winter time.
Well, the winter down there is pretty cool too. I'll try and hit that. If I can get there like February, March, certain time of year, because it all depends on weather. But mainly I do Idaho, Washington, Utah, but I've been cutting back on Utah lately, and Montana, Colorado, New Mexico, and Texas. And then I go as far as Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arizona and California, Nevada. But mainly this side.
On the road I'm driving, there'll be no more lying. On the road I'm driving, there'll be no more dying. Going home, going home.
Mike, earlier you were talking about your life before God called you to start walking. So what was your life? What were you doing for work?
Before this happened, I was working as a museum curator at the Little Big Horn Museum and at the American Battlefield Museum in Arizona, and I was a defense contractor. I did that for about 20 years.
So a defense contractor out of California or Utah?
Out of California and Utah.
Oh, okay. So you were a defense contractor, and then you had the accident.
Yeah, during the time. Right?
During that time. How long a recovery for the accident did you have?
Well, about 2 years before I started going back to normal, because I was in a wheelchair and then I was in a cane for a little while, and even then, the mental, right, all that, and plus the court hearings and all that stuff. I mean, it took a while to go back to before I even had the drive to want to go to work.
So you were saying that the accident was a couple of people on the other side of the highway that were racing?
Yeah, well, they were on what's called Yosemite Boulevard, and it's about 4 or 5 lanes at the widest part.
Okay.
And it's a known thing from drag racing, but I did not know that. And so the person racing this way lost control, swung over, hit me head on.
So it hit you head on, and it was you and a couple people in the car, a couple kids,
right?
And the other driver, she passed away.
She died, yeah.
And then somebody in your car,
right?
And
my nephew.
Your nephew.
Cole. He was 4 years old.
4 years old. Oh boy! And you had your 2 kids with you.
I had a total of 6 kids.
Total of 6 kids in your car.
Yeah, and so there were 7 of us total. But at that speed, praise the Lord that the rest were okay, because we all should have gone.
Yeah.
You know, it was a really, really nasty accident.
Okay. So then after you went through rehab and you were, getting where you could function, and then how long was it after the accident that God called you to start walking?
After the accident, I started another defense company. I did that for about 5 years, from 2004 or 5 until 2008 or 9 or something like that, I forget. And then by that time I was done. Yeah.
Okay.
And then from 2009 to about 2013 or 14, I was doing a ministry like we had talked the other day, just about local people that I knew, right? And then I told you, that's when I told you, they kept telling me, you're talking about Jesus all the time, you know? Yeah, every time you come over, that's all you talk about. And so I left, but I started in one town, my town, and then I went to my county, and then when the county, then my state, and then from the state I went to another place, and then here it's been a while, but so.
And so we're in that time frame. You were talking to me earlier about you used to have really short hair, almost kind of like a buzz cut, and then now your hair is longer and you kind of look like a homeless guy that,
sure
people would think that, he's never done anything with his life, blah, 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 blah. So when did you start growing your hair out? What's that all about?
That was after I was on the road. When I first started, I didn't look anything like this. I mean, I did. I was a defense contractor. I worked with big companies, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin. I had Raytheon. I was doing a lot of government stuff, and I had dealt with government contractors all day, quality assurance people. So I used to wear nice white ties and slacks and everything. But then when I was on the road, I just adapted to this, and because it's more convenient, really, But then, like we had talked about earlier, it's like then I was reading number 6 about a Nazarite vow, and then some people say you can't take a Nazarite vow because it's old, right? And it calls for sacrifice, but it's not true, because Paul took a Nazarite vow and he shaved his head before he went in, and that's New Testament,
Yep.
So it's the same thing, but without making the sacrifice. It's just dedicating yourself to the Lord.
It's got to be tough what he's doing, because the staff he's got,
It's a piece
you
of
don't
pipe.
realize, huh?
It's a piece of steel pipe.
Yeah, it's a piece of steel pipe,
Yeah,
and it's really heavy.
Yeah.
It's not like just a little light wooden cane. And you've had lots of injuries in the past, and so at some point your body's going to start wearing out, because all of us do.
Right. Yeah. And when that happens, because it really was. It's worn out right now, you know, and that's why. You know, I'm grateful for every day right now. Every day, really.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, there's been times I thought I was gonna have to call quits 2 or 3 times. I really prayed hard. Don't let me stop now. You know, I'm not ready. I don't know what I do. You know, I'm sure everything will be fine, but if I don't do this every day, I don't know. I've had really, because there's been 2 or 3 times I couldn't walk. You know, like I would just be in some other state somewhere and I'd be laid up for 4 or 5 days under some bridge or on the side of some railroad track because it would really kill me. And I mean, I could not walk from here to that door over there, you know, which is a couple hundred feet. And when it hits hard. They told me it would, because I'm 14 years on this hip replacement, and it's only supposed to last 10. So, before I left, I was having a very difficult time walking. But praise the Lord, because it is all His strength. 100%. I know it is all His strength. If it was just me, I would be in big trouble a long time.
So you do look at yourself somewhere near down the road of having another hip replacement?
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would like to try and take this one for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts, but it's not bad, you know. And
well, the doctors would always say on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
What's your pain level?
When I first wake up, it's pretty bad, but right now during the day, when I'm walking, it doesn't hurt.
Over the 6 years that you've been doing this and stuff, have you met people that have helped you along the way, that you know that God has sent you to help you along the way?
Yeah, I have. I've met both. I've met good and bad, you know.
Yeah.
No, just Jesus is Lord. That's all I had to say. You know, that's just. I mean, that's the one thing I put. Jesus is Lord. That's
Cool.
yeah.
All right. Well, hey, it was great talking with you, man.
All right.
We had to really twist his arm to get him to stand in front of the camera, so we appreciate it. All right. See you.